Round two of subsistence agriculture is intensive subsistence agriculture. Well, I think personally the name gives it away. It's intensive farming, so we don't even need to discuss that part. This typically occurs in East, Southeast, and South Asia, along with some other areas like Egypt, especially along the Nile River Valley. So if you look at this map, you can see I've circled the areas we're talking about: East, Southeast, South Asia, and then in that area along the Nile River Valley in Egypt and down into Sudan. It's most commonly associated with subsistence rice farming. Now look, you can see those people working there. Growing rice is a difficult business. And if it's just for survival, it really matters that you do it correctly. If you've ever read The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, you know that in chapter 8, it's called Rice Paddies and Math Tests. And the quote that starts it is this: "No one who can rise before dawn 360 days a year fails to make his family rich, because this is a lot of work." The rice paddy has to be level, there has to be water, it has to be taken care of, it has to be harvested at the right time. All of these things have to happen or you don't eat. And rice is a critical grain for hundreds and hundreds, maybe even a billion people. Hundreds and hundreds of millions, I was going to say. One of the common things is that in hilly areas, so areas that have a relatively steep landscape, is that for thousands of years, people, in order to grow rice, have terraced the landscape, which you see in that picture. Terracing just means this: it means making flat land out of hilly land. You can see the way they do it. They just cut into the slope, and that allows for increasing the amount of arable land, the amount of agricultural land, which of course increases how intensive this landscape is and how much they try to get every single grain of rice and every bit of food out of it. Intensive subsistence agriculture generally involves multiple cropping, which means growing more than one crop on the land throughout the year. Now, this is climate dependent, of course, because you have to have a warm enough winter in order to be able to grow crops during the winter. But in tropical areas, of course, you can do that because it tends to be warm during the winter. And of course, it involves intercropping also. You can't just live on rice alone. And so the farmers are going to be intercropping, growing more than one crop on the land at a time as well to supplement this nutrition. Although this photograph is from Egypt, if you look, there's a lot of intercropping going on here. So the red arrow is pointing at corn, the yellow arrow at cabbages that are grown between the corn. You can't really tell, but the green arrow is pointing at pole beans that grow up along the side of the corn stalk. So there's beans hanging off the corn stalk. The white arrow is pointing at potatoes, and the blue arrow is pointing at herbs. And look at that. All of that is being grown on that one tiny little plot of land because these people rely on those calories that they're growing. Both of these are also intensive subsistence agriculture. It's not exclusively related to rice, but lots of work on the land. You can see on the right-hand side those small plots of land. And the people farm those very small plots of land and rely on them. What is also typical with intensive subsistence agriculture is this, is that everything gets used. What do you see on the side of the road in the left-hand photograph and then in that cart that guy's pushing down the street? Do you know what that is? That's dung, cow patties. This is what comes out of the back end of the cow. It's used to heat things up, to warm the house up, to cook with, and of course it's used for fertilizer as well. Everything gets used in this sort of an agricultural system. Nothing can be wasted.